Hi, everybody. I'm Nicole Mangina with Windermere Bellevue Commons. Welcome to Windermere Education's Conversations with Agents, where each time we try to bring you some extra tools that you can use to sharpen your saw and have in your back pocket the next time you are meeting with a client. I'm excited. Today we are chatting with Dave Watkins out of the Windermere Edmonds office. How are you, Dave?
Very good. Thank you, Nicole.
Good. Thanks for joining us, Dave. You are the expert in land acquisition and development, and we thought it would be great to chat today because we're all looking for ways to stand out with our clients. So we'll kind of focus on sellers for the purpose of this conversation, but we've all had those moments when maybe you sit down with a seller and you know there's more to the marketing and the pricing than meets the eye. You think maybe it could work for an ADU or development or something like that. And I thought it'd be great to learn some tips from you so that we can stand out in that next listing appointment.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess first question is, we're going to a listing appointment. Is there anything that we can research ahead of time that might clue us in to this is a different kind of property?
Yes, a very good question, Nicole. As you prepare yourself to go on a listing appointment, I think it's really important that you understand your property, as we all do.
Right.
The house, the size, the square footage. But there's another component sometimes that we don't always add to the checkoff list, and that's understanding the zoning of the property.
Right.
And you can get that many different places online, or you can visit the city.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really important that you understand that there are zoning restrictions and opportunities
Sure.
as you prepare to go meet your seller that would
Got
help
it.
you. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So you mentioned the city. So let's say, and we would go to the city maps. Where would we go to find that information?
I think initially, Nicole, you would go to a map that you'd find online. In King County, you would go to King County Parcel Viewer, or in Snohomish County, you would go to Scopy. Both are accessible online, and you would simply click through it and find out a lot about the property that you may or may not know.
Great.
That would be step one.
Okay.
After that, you might want to consider a trip to the city when they open, of course. But you can shoot questions that you'll find on the city websites even now and get answers. So that's another way to find out what can be done with the property, is simply getting on the form in each city and asking a question.
Awesome. Perfect. And so are there any other things that we should be looking at? Let's say we get to a listing appointment, we're walking a property. I realize this is a big question and it's probably super situationally specific, but are there any things that we could be aware of or looking at that would maybe clue us in that, hey, this bears a little bit more investigation?
Well, I think one of the first things that if you were walking around the home would be the size of the property. Is it bigger than the other homes on the street?
Sure. Okay.
That would probably be the first thing that would prompt that. The next thing might be, is it level or slope? What's the topography?
Mm-hmm.
That would be another trigger for digging a little deeper.
Okay. Perfect.
And of course, if it has any wetlands or streams or things that are easily recognizable by a simple walk around.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. That's super helpful. And what would be some good things to do? I have to admit, when I have land, I usually do partner with somebody else because it's a different element. There's lots of different things to navigate to go through that. So I know that's something you do as well, right?
Yes.
In terms of, just being able to partner with agents to take them through that process. For sure. You shared some interesting statistics with me before we started on this. I would love it if you would share those in the recording because it's mind-blowing in terms of just the need for land. And, I think it's something that as agents, we could all bring to the forefront of our radar and be able to uncover some opportunities that we hadn't been thinking about before. So if you'd share some of those.
Sure, I'm happy to, Nicole. One of the things that, of course, comes to mind is one of the reasons we're doing this is because we're not teaching the classes at continuing education through Women.
Right.
And one of those classes I teach, and it's recognizing subdividable land from the city to the suburbs.
Sure.
So short of that, it is a 3-hour class that when we get back online after this time that we're in right now, that'll be available. But short of that, right now, what you're asking about are the realities of our market in Snohomish King County is absolutely mind-blowing, like you say. There is only 4 days of inventory in each King and Snohomish County of finished new construction inventory.
Wow. That's amazing.
4 days. We're used
that's
to
for all
reading
price
36.
points, right?
Yeah, that is all, that's new construction.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fascinating. I was showing actually up in Lake Stevens over the weekend, and we were looking at new construction, and there's like maybe 3 houses that were done. That, you know, my client could choose from. Otherwise, you're really, I mean, you're looking at pre-sales even. You're not even looking at really under construction stuff.
Right. And so the market's brisk around here, as you know. But the new homes that are done are selling.
Right.
The homes on some of the subdivisions that I sold last year, I know of one in particular in Linwood. There was 41 homes. They pre-sold 20.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
20 pre-solds.
That's crazy.
So, in spite of the lack of inventory, people are showing the desire and the need to buy a new home. All of that to say the need for land's important. The unprecedented growth we have around here is real. People are coming into the city and the suburbs. People are leaving the city for the suburbs because they want to have some more land around them and they want a bigger home. Needs require that, families grow, people transition. So there is a great need for land and there's not enough of it. And the COVID time period we went into really stopped a lot of things. There were an enormous amount of homes that were under construction that had to stop. I think the number was somewhere around 3,000 homes that had to stop and are now starting to pick back up. In both Snohomish and King County, we sell on an annual basis about 7,400 houses a year.
Wow.
And to have half of that inventory stopped in 2020 is going to cause a lot of ripple effect throughout the year as we catch up. So the need for land is high, and recognizing that when you're going on a listing appointment is really important, whether it's a single lot in the city or an infill lot in one of the localities that you work in, or wherever you're at. The need for land is growing, and it helps to understand what you can do to show a seller what they could do or help them create more value for their home by understanding that.
Well, and that's the huge part, and why I'm so grateful that you're kind of on this call with us sharing these resources today, because like you said, there is such a need for land. And I think it's something, you know, I have to admit in my career, a lot of times I just say, well, I don't really do land. Yeah. And, you know, you can, your class I know is amazing if agents want to take that once they start offering it again. If you really want to dive deep with finding and doing the development of land, there's some huge opportunities there if you want to add that to the leg of your business. But even just kind of having it in your mind, the reticular activator of, you know, it could even just be that one lot that if you can subdivide it and turn it into 2, that immensely changes the value of a property. And I think that's great. We're always looking for ways to serve our clients better, ways to help them maximize their value. And then it's just almost an easy no-brainer after a little bit of research that you can do before an appointment, that if they're also interviewing other agents is going to make you stand out. And I think it's good to talk about that with your clients, quite honestly, whether they can subdivide it or not. It's just a point of difference, and it allows the client to know that you are educated on more aspects of the market than the average agent.
Yes, Nicole. I think one of the mandates we have on ourselves is to provide excellence in service and results.
Sure.
And I think that requires us to understand everything we can about the property so that we can
Right.
better serve our clients, ultimately help them get top dollar, whatever that is. One of the easiest things a person can do is
Mhm.
just to be a really good listener.
Great.
Listen
Yes.
to what the sellers are saying. I need
Mhm.
to sell my home. Well, where is your home? And then having a a quick mind to understand neighborhoods, which you will in the areas that you work, understand where it is and what it looks like, and the topography should come to mind immediately in most cases. We've all seen the listing. I want
Right.
to share this if I may. We've all seen the listing that's been underpriced.
Sure.
And the two questions that come from that are, does the agent know what they're doing? And
Mhm.
or did the seller just want to sell it quickly?
Right.
The answers are really what they are. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of saying to yourself, I want to be sure that my seller has every opportunity to get as much as they possibly can. And we
Mhm.
know that happens when it goes onto the multiple for all the eyes to see. And we
Right.
also know that it happens when an agent understands that a property can or can't be subdivided. So it's just some little things that when we listen to our clients' needs, that we're able to go to the city or to the website to understand what the zoning is for that particular neighborhood and how to advise our sellers.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, Dave. I really, really appreciate you joining us today, and sharing those tips. Again, you said the parcel viewers are a great resource before the listing appointments, right? For King County, every county has. You can
Yes,
go
they
on,
do.
take a look at that, and that'll give you some hints before your first appointment as to whether or not there might be something going on there.
Right. It's easy to find in King County. It's just type in parcel viewer and it will come up.
Okay.
In your browser, just type in Scopy, and
Okay.
it will show up for Snohomish County. Those two things will help you get quick information. And then every city has a website. And when you go to the city's website, click on zoning or land use, and you will get, they're pretty user friendly these days. And you're able to find out a lot of information that is going to prompt more questions or give you some answers. But I think it's important to not avoid it, but to engage and embrace knowledge when it comes to land, because it helps you ultimately give excellent service and excellent results.
I love it. Thanks so much for joining us today. If you are thinking more about doing land as part of your business, I highly encourage you to take Dave's class when, we start doing all that stuff again. Thanks so much, Dave. I appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Thank you very much, Nicole, for having me. Have a nice day.